I'm Nolan Beilstein, and welcome to another episode of Gen Z in Manufacturing, a podcast where I interview young people about their journeys in manufacturing, how they intend to influence the industry, and what they are looking for from an employer. For this episode, I welcome Marco Ristano, a 28-year-old senior industrial engineering and planning specialist at machinery manufacturer Caracol. Ristano joined Caracol after a contact in the investment sector recommended the company. After nearly 4 years with the company, his duties include collecting and analyzing data, interaction with a range of teams, troubleshooting analysis and digitalization, and management of internal information flows. Ristano hopes to grow into a strategic role where he does not only analyze data and suggest operational improvements, but also contributes to high-level strategic decision-making. Before we hear from Ristano, please make sure to like and share this episode of Gen Z in Manufacturing. To view previous episodes, visit manufacturing.net. If you are a member of Gen Z and would like to discuss your experience in the manufacturing industry, please get in touch with me, Nolan Beilstein, at nolan@in.com. Well, Marco, thank you for joining Gen Z in Manufacturing. I wanted to start the conversation by getting a sense of how things work in Italy. I understand how Gen Z views the manufacturing industry in the US, but I was hoping you could explain to me how young people in Italy view manufacturing as a career choice.
Well, that's an interesting question. I have plenty of colleagues in the university that decided to start this career in manufacturing many time because of passion, of course. Studying management engineering, you can take many different type of path, also finance or more related to economics, logistics. But I would say that a smaller part of us decided to join manufacturing directly, like at the start of the career choice, while many of my colleagues get passionate about the manufacturing during the university path. When I decided to join my bachelor degree, I would say that my first dream was about not working in manufacturing, but more in finance. Then exam after exam, and also then deciding to take the master degree in advanced manufacturing, I became more and more passionate. Not just because of how the industry works in terms of what we are doing, in terms of engineering, in terms of solution that we are designing, in terms of all the operation that we are doing, but also in terms of the product, in terms of how also companies in Italy are dealing right now with the manufacturing world. In Italy, I would say that many manufacturing companies are taking the right path, or are starting to take the path to be more green, more sustainable, more concentrated also about how people inside their company work every day, and are also in general dealing with their well-being.
You touched on it a little bit, but do you think that Italian companies have a hard time recruiting young workers, or do they have that pretty well handled?
Well, it depends. It depends by manufacturer. I would say that many companies right now are starting to get the right points on how to attract Gen Z people. Many times I see that, especially small companies, newborn companies, that many times are created by Gen Z people or even by younger people, have more capability to attract Gen Z into the manufacturing industry, or in general in other industries related to engineering. Many times because they have this spirit of engagement that make the employee in love with the vision and the mission. We do not look for stability, or at least this is not the main driver. The main driver is especially the possibility of create something, the possibility of following a vision, a mission that is related to a certain also personal view. So as for what concern the big companies or the corporates in general, I noticed in Italy that we are starting to in a certain sense create a sort of startup model inside big corporates. at least for what concerns like dealing with people. So many like big corporates are trying right now to redesign their system of HR management to deal with people, engaging them better in feeling not just a number. That is something that in a big company can many times happens, and of course in a startup is not feasible because maybe you are just 20 people, as in the start of Caracol when I entered like 3 years and a half ago. But for really big companies, many times the challenge is to not making an employee feeling just as a number, but feeling as a part of something that creates something. And also, I think that many companies right now are giving also to the younger employees the possibility not just of creating something, but the possibility to express what they think is the best way to pursue certain objectives, to reach certain objectives, and this is something that is really value adding for a young employee that is looking for a job.
Do you have any familiarity with U.S. workplace culture? Have you ever worked with Americans or worked for a U.S. company?
Well, many times I have the possibility of working like with the United States division of Caracol. I noticed many time looking also at the feedback from my colleague in the US that the manufacturing world in the US many times is more willing to take risk, also into to invest in new technologies, to consider new technologies as a new solution. I would say that different from Italy, like the Italian manufacturing world is more also because of their heritage, also because of the many companies that are in Italy that were established like many years ago. More manufacturing companies in Italy are tend to be more prone to preserve like their normal manufacturing type of structure, but in terms of solution, but also in terms of like dealing with people. Many of them are starting, as I was saying before, to adopt like new ways to attract young people, to create new way to engage young people. But when we look at the American market, especially in the manufacturing way, I believe that many companies, especially the newborn ones, uh, maybe started before to look at what the Gen Z is looking right now in terms of what is attractive in the manufacturing world.
So you mentioned in your bio in our email exchange that a contact in the investment sector recommended Caracol to you. What did they say that made you want to work there?
Well, it was a really not funny story, but for me, it's funny to like think about 3 years and a half ago because uh, I was like doing my master thesis in additive manufacturing, and I discovered my passion for additive manufacturing like during the path of my thesis. Like this person came to me. I was working for an investment fund and explained to me that there was this newborn company in which there were really few people. They were searching for an industrial engineer, and I was like, wow, this is an amazing opportunity to like start and get into a new reality in which I can create basically everything starting from scratch. It will be, of course, much more complicated than being in a well-established company, in a big company, but it would be really fun. Caracol at the start was presented to me as a sort of revolution inside the additive manufacturing. So the possibility of creating large parts using a lower volume of material, lower energy, lower time. So I've seen that solution not as just something that could have changed the industry in terms of profit for the companies, but also in terms of environment, also in terms of impact on the world. I would say that this is also a driver for my generation when taking into account a company.
So a lot of people that have come on here, they talk about their job wanting to give them purpose. They want to see the end product and what it means to the world as a whole, which is what you're talking about here. So, what does being valued at a job mean to you?
For me, being valued inside my work means that the company take into account my suggestion. And I think that is something that is true also for many people of my generation. When dealing with young people, many times their position is is not like designed to bring like strategical decision, but also many of the young people are in a position, and I speak for me, but I speak for a lot of other people, in which we create information, we create a lot of suggestions that can be uh, that should be taken into account because it's maybe another point of view, and any point of view can reach also the overall vision about a problem, about a possible solution. For me, being valued at my work means to have my not also my job of implementation, but also my suggestion taken into account. That maybe at the end could be defined as wrong, not maybe the best solution, but at least having my suggestion, and I would say not just suggestion for improvement, but also the suggestion for solving a problem for continuous improvement, taken into account to also not just guide the company maybe into a certain direction, but also to design certain part of the company following a certain type of rule, certain type of designs. Yeah.
You mentioned that you watched Caracol grow from what you described as a dynamic, close knit environment where people would work outside of their main areas and had broad autonomy to something that was a little more structured. So, which of those two work environments do you think more aligns with what Gen Z wants in a job?
Well, uh, it depends. I would recommend my journey to all my colleagues that are part of the Gen Z, but in general to all my colleagues of the other like all the other generation. Why I would recommend my journey? Because of the structure are in a certain sense fascinating, especially if you consider the switch from one structure to the other. I mean, at the start we were really like few people. Basically, everybody needed to do everything and needed to be capable of doing everything at the same time, like switching jobs, switching roles every time it was required. Then after a while, it became more structured, and in the first like settlement in which we were just 20 people, the possibility of doing a lot of jobs, a lot of different things, it was really stimulating. And also, I think for Gen Z can be really attractive because of the possibility of also reinventing themselves through the process of growth of the company. The really important thing for companies during their growth process is to do not lose their uh, their soul as a startup. That energy in which people like have the possibility of reinvent themselves through the path of like taking new responsibility, also maybe the possibility of helping other colleagues, of learn something about a field of application that maybe is not part of your work. I think that can be really, really tough at the same time, but also funny. And also for Gen Z career, the possibility of taking many different roles and explore maybe logistics, production, operation. So have a complete view of the manufacturing. Also, when thinking about in the future, maybe of taking in new responsibility of managing different part of a company, especially if you want to like reach the level of a director or a C level, taking like the journey of starting from a small company, go to a medium, and then go to a big company is something that I would recommend. I would not say that there is like a best version of the two or between the two structure. I would prefer one. I think that I would recommend to all the people to get in love with the path.
And you just mentioned that you were warning startups not to lose their soul, their identity as they get bigger. So, how did Caracol keep that initial excitement that you're describing?
Well, I think that Caracol for me decided to like taking the path of engaging people inside their vision, explaining to all the people inside the company which was the vision and the mission of Caracol. This is something that can be, I mean, it can be in a certain sense for many companies simple, but at the same time, it's not just what you say to the people, but the way in which you present things to the people. When you present like your mission and your vision to your employees, making them feel as a part of something, as a part of the force that is leading the growth of the company. And at the same time, you care about the people. You care about how people are doing, not just inside of the work, but you care about like the well-being of the people. You give them flexibility. You give them objectives that are maybe on the medium, on the long term, and you assure them the flexibility of like dealing with their life that many times can be complicated, not just in work, but also outside of work. And you understand that your employees are people with many time, their necessity, their good periods, bad periods in life. For me as a company, you accomplish to successfully engage in the Gen Z. You need to understand that your employee are people and you make them fall in love with the path and with the journey. Caracol, through the time, decided to share with all the employees all our steps, making them exciting through the process. So also for me, it was really impressive many times to look at the result that we had. And it was like, oh my God. When I started, I didn't think that we maybe would have reached that type of level, and it's good.
Thank you for watching this episode of Gen Z in Manufacturing. Please make sure to like and share the episode. To view previous episodes, visit manufacturing.net. If you are a member of Gen Z and would like to discuss your experience in the manufacturing industry, please contact Nolan Beilstein at nolan@ien.com.